Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a good Friday. It's hard to deny that we have an incredibly active weather pattern setting up across the country with this zonal flow that we're seeing that's west to east. And I think that's going to lead to more of the same for many of you, okay? Just because of the fact that this zonal flow isn't going to allow for a lot of warm air to move north, a lot of cold air to move south. We're just, again, kind of in the middle here. Once we move through the afternoon of today, really across the south, you're really going to feel that warm air here and into the weekend too. Really nice. I mean, you talk about spring fever, you kind of feel it. Across the north, though, a winter storm taking shape here across the northeast. And then we're going to be dealing with this zonal flow continuing. Look how your polar vortex drops here into the Hudson Bay, and pieces of energy are going to rotate around that. So we're looking out pretty far now. Check it out. Another piece of energy. You've got another one moving into the west that's likely going to want to spin through, and I think more of the same. So if you're warm, you're probably going to stay that way. If you're cold, you're probably going to stay chilly. Take a look at what's going on. The battle zone sets up here across the central U.S., and this is going to meander over the next couple of days. We've got one storm moving through now that's going to bring quite a bit of snow here across the high plains into the Great Lakes area. That's going to put snow into Minnesota, also Wisconsin, over to Michigan as well. And then more snow pushing to the east into parts of New York. Winter storm watches up for a lot of the Northeast. Also a slew of winter weather advisories out on the northern side of this. Some ice possible here. We'll dig into that in just a moment here into Pennsylvania. Some of the same areas that just saw freezing rain will likely see more. And then rain just to the south of that. All right. Warm temperatures above normal, below normal as cold high pressure builds in across the central plains for the weekend. A lot of you have been ripped off with snow. I get it. And there's like a snow hole here in this region across Illinois and parts of the Midwest. And unfortunately, if you're hoping for snow, it doesn't look like you're going to get it. A decent dump of snow for the Northeast, though. We're talking about a good 5 to 8 inches of snow. Some places could see more. More on that in just a moment. And then high pressure builds in. Now we look for the second system to develop. You've got your baroclinic zone that's pushed to the south. And a piece of energy tries to dive in from the north. You've also got something going on here on the southern side of this, and these two have been trying to connect for the last couple of days, and now it looks like some snow breaking out here. This is, to me, for the last 4 to 5 days, has looked like a light snow event. It's not looked like a major winter storm as we head toward the middle part of next week. More of the same. I mean, right? So now you've got more aggravating nuisance-type snow that's going to cause some travel issues and rain across the south. Quite soggy, too. In fact, too soggy across parts of the Appalachians from West Virginia, where we've seen flooding down into Virginia, even into Tennessee. And now look at this, more snow possible heading into next week from the mid-Atlantic north into New York City, into Boston. Maybe some more snow on the way. And then another piece of energy by Wednesday tries to swing through. And this right here looks interesting. This area of low pressure is a lot stronger today than it was looking yesterday. And that puts more snow, at least a better chance of snow, back across Missouri up to Illinois, Indiana, maybe even parts of Michigan. This is still early in the game on this. We're talking about day 6 now into day 7, so a long way to go. But this looks more amplified with your trough, so that would mean more than likely a stronger jet streak out ahead of this, developing surface low pressure. So a long way to go to get there. Hey, if you're stopping by and you're new to the channel, thanks for coming over. I'm Travis. Welcome. I used to be a chief meteorologist. If you're brand new, you'd have no idea. Who are you? And I've been out of the TV business for almost 6 years now. It's hard to believe. But I find myself tracking this kind of stuff. So if you want to follow along, hope you will. Subscribe. More to go. This is a really active pattern, too. We're not done, I think, even as we head toward the end of the month. Let's push the GFS out ahead in time. It's got a very similar story here heading into the middle part of next week. Okay, so you're looking at that snow on the northern side. Some would argue, and it's clear, that this is a little bit further to the south with the wintry precipitation into Virginia and West Virginia. I'm not sold on this look right now. The European, a little bit different. You've got your lighter snow back here across the central U.S., and then this also puts that snow into D.C. It doesn't want to move it as far northeast heading into Wednesday and Thursday, so a long way to go. And here's that second storm I was telling you guys about during that day 6 time frame. Showing up on the GFS, it's not nearly as amplified. Your trough back here to the west swinging through. Again, it just doesn't look as strong. More to come on that. Again, a lot of details to be ironed out in the long range. Let's talk about the short range. This is the snow that's falling through the next 24 to 48 hours. I'll time it out. As you wake up Saturday morning, here's what you're looking at. Several inches of snow, 2 to 4 inches along the South Dakota, North Dakota border. Some of that spreading over towards Minneapolis, St. Paul. So a good 2 to 3 inches of snow, maybe more, especially north of here into parts of central Wisconsin, where some areas could see more than 6 inches of snow. But once you get down towards Chicago, that tapers off pretty quickly. And right here along the Wisconsin-Illinois border, not as much snow, and the same for Iowa. Some snow into Michigan, too. It's all north of Kalamazoo, north of Detroit, but we could get a little bit of snow here up towards Cadillac. Not really Cadillac, I guess Gaylord up towards Traverse City. Somewhere here in this region, we could see 4, 5, 6 inches of snow. A closer look here and also into the northeast, that snow spreading east. Now, there's going to be some ice here mixing in. I think that's the problem across especially southern New England. I was talking with someone about that yesterday. I think, you look at New York, you're thinking it's going to be all snow. I just don't I have my doubts. I think you're just going to get some warm air that's going to intrude on this, and that's going to mix you over to some ice. Though I would say, once you get inland, we're looking at a good dump of snow here. Now, some of this, especially across downwind of Lake Erie, across western New York, some of that's going to be lake effect, but there comes the snow, timing it out through Sunday morning. By the time you get up Sunday, you're looking at a good 4 to 8 inches of snow here. I think the official winter storm watches that are out are talking something like 5 to 8. So you get the idea. And then there's going to be some ice on this storm too, especially into parts of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, down into Delaware, northern Delaware, into parts of Maryland, central and western Maryland, and then back into the panhandle of West Virginia, maybe even northern Virginia, and then back into Ohio. Some of this ice here you can see would be falling sometime Saturday into early Sunday morning. A quick look at the future radar. This helps you time it out. We've got the snow back across Wisconsin and Minnesota, moving east into Michigan. Once we move into the early morning hours of Saturday, rain developing here across Kentucky. A little bit of mixed precipitation possible too. Some freezing rain maybe across parts of Missouri, also over into Illinois and Indiana. And then here into eastern West Virginia and the mountains of Virginia, there could be some mixed precipitation, and that spreads east here into the mid-Atlantic, into Maryland, north into Pennsylvania. There's the snow moving through Michigan, really two distinct areas of precipitation. These kind of converge into the northeast once we head into really Saturday. You start to see this kind of take shape here. Some heavier rain to the south of that. There could even be a few thunderstorms. It doesn't look like a major severe event, but neither did the one yesterday a few days ago, right? Yesterday we were talking about that tornado threat in Tennessee, and we saw an incredible amount of tornado warnings last night in the East Tennessee area around Knoxville. So, yeah, we'll have to watch this as it moves through. On the northern side of that, there's your ice into Pennsylvania. Warm air surging north, trying to change things over to rain along the southern side of the system. And then I told you, right here along the New York coastline and to Long Island, especially into southern Connecticut, there could be some mixing over to some sleet or maybe even freezing rain. All snow, though, I think, inland. And then here comes the cold air behind the system with some snow moving into parts of western Pennsylvania, New York. There could even be some lake effect picking up here across not just Pennsylvania, New York, but also Michigan off of the lakes here. And some of that could last a few days. All right, let's take a look at the central U.S. as we move through today. We've got the rain moving north, just a few showers here, cloudy, kind of drizzly at times as we see the moisture starting to increase. On the northern side of that, some cold air, and there's your snow moving across the northern plains. That pushes east. There comes some cold air pushing south. As your boundary moves south, your chances for the next storm start to pick up as we head into really Monday. And I call it a storm. I guess that's relative. It's not really a huge storm, but it's going to be impactful. So maybe some snow for Kansas, over to Missouri, up into Nebraska, Iowa. This looks like a light snow event. There could be some moderate accumulations, though, somewhere here as we now head into Tuesday. And then this continues to push off to the east. And look at this, guys. Another potential winter weather event. This one looks a little bit further to the south. That could put some snow into Oklahoma. I don't want to get your hopes up just yet. It's still early in the game. I'm telling you, the European really wants to amplify this and put the snow axis here. More to come on that. And then across the west, we've got that snow and rain across the Pacific Northwest, some of that into the interior areas too. We start to dry out as high pressure settles in, and overall kind of quiet until about Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll start to see the moisture pick up across the west coast, and then by Thursday and Friday, do we get enough moisture into the southwest? Certainly possible. That could put some snow into the Four Corners states, into the mountains anyway, with maybe a little bit of rain in the valleys. It's always tough to get rain into Phoenix, into the deserts, but some moisture is going to be around, which for a moisture-starved area, it's a good thing. All right, so I got for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.